Welcome to Inspire on the Go. This season, we are focusing on growing together. It's exciting to know that we can grow in our relationship with Jesus and friendships with one another. Daily, as we abide in Jesus and invite His Word to abide in us, spiritual growth takes place in and through our lives. So, what does growing together look like for you in your life and ministry setting? Grab a cup of coffee and join the conversation. Hey, sweet friends, it's Andrea. I hope that your day is off to a great start. We are coming to you today with a bonus episode. And whenever you think bonus, I hope you think extra, special, good. We are joined by our sweet friend, Shari Edwards, who is our network coordinator here in Arkansas, to talk about an upcoming event called Thrive Collective. So, Shari, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Andrea. It's so good to be here.
Well, it's always good to see you. We get to talk together. We get to plan together. And our heart is just for leaders in Arkansas to be encouraged and equipped, for them to know that they're not alone in the leadership journey. And that's really what our networking groups are about and Thrive Collective. Tell us a little bit about how our networking groups are going.
Yes, we had a great first network gathering. All of our networks had their gatherings Thursday, February the 9th, all around the state. And we had such a great response. We had around 150 women that were plugged into those in all different areas. And they were just so eager to connect with one another, and there has been momentum that has come out of that. They're asking for resources on how to start women's ministry or how to, just different ideas of how to reach their women. And so that's been really, really exciting. And I just can't say enough about our network leaders. They are just doing such a great job.
Well, and we have prayed for this, right?
Yes.
We've prayed, we've planned,
Yeah.
we've prayed that the Lord would create spiritual hunger among women and to raise up leaders who say, I want to help blaze the trail for networking, for those silos to come down in our regional areas between churches. And we're seeing that happen.
We're seeing that happen in some of our regions where we're seeing large and small churches come together. Just how can we reach our women? So
it's such a picture of the gospel, how the gospel draws us together.
Yeah. And they're helping one another.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And so part of our, strategy is that our network gatherings meet across the state in regional areas. But once a year, we bring them together for an event called Thrive Collective. It's been called other things in the past, but this year it's called Thrive Collective. And this is an opportunity for everybody to come to the Arkansas Baptist State Convention to receive training and to network with leaders all across the state.
Yes. And, I was thinking about it earlier. In some ways, it's almost kind of like what you would think of as a professional development. But for the purposes of the Great Commission, like it's almost like how can we connect and network with other leaders who are serving in their churches and in their communities, and what are some ways we can come together and grow as a women's ministry leader, but also take that back to where the Lord has positioned each of us for His glory.
So it's very interactive.
Yes.
It's very much designed to meet you in not only your leadership journey, but also just in your thought process of what is women's ministry and what does it look like implemented in my, regional area, in my local church setting. And so we have some great, plans for that day. We're going to walk through that. First of all, I just want to say thank you to you for leading the charge in this as our network coordinator. You are organizing, you are bringing these details together, and you have an incredible lineup of leaders. So let's talk a little bit about the day. What can women expect and what will they gain? Why don't you walk us through who's going to be here and what they're going to talk about?
It's going to be a day, and we've really given a lot of thought to what I like to think of when I'm attending something like this. Sometimes you'll attend an event or a conference or a training, and you sit and you soak in a lot of knowledge, but you would have liked to have processed it with other people. And so we really try to build in times during the day where you can sit around a table and process what you're taking in with the other women's ministry leaders. And so we have 3 main key sessions. We've incorporated some conversations, so you'll hear stories from actual women's ministry leaders, and then we have a panel at the end. Did you want me to talk
let's talk about
detail?
each session.
Okay,
Let's talk about first session and who's going to be here and what they're going to cover.
So last year, during our event that we had called Women's Leadership Intensive, I think that's what the name of it, we really kind of introduced the discipleship concept. Like, what is discipleship? This year, we're drilling down into how is our women's ministry reflecting and growing in the concept of discipleship. It's kind of like, okay, have you taken what you grasped last year and how's that going? And so we've got Lori McDaniel, who we love.
Yes.
Lori is near and dear to our hearts. And I think that she's going to have a session coming out of this, but she's going to speak to us about creating ministry environments for women to thrive. Because sometimes, as women's ministry leaders, we have all been in that mindset of we've got to plan the ministry. But, there is a component of planning, but if that's all we're doing, then we're missing the whole purpose. And so just looking at our mindset to how we're shaping discipleship ministry, is the ministry that we are putting together, is it flowing out of how we're growing in the Lord? And so, and is it producing spiritual fruit? Like it's kind of that orchard process. So how are we doing in that? And then we've got one of our own network leaders, Tracy Smith, who's going to be sharing her personal story of how the Lord shifted her mindset toward a more discipleship-driven women's ministry. So that's really exciting. I'm excited about that. Then we'll have some time around the table for you to talk through some questions together after you've taken in that material, and then you'll be able to talk about with other women around your table. Then we'll have some lunch, and
Gotta have
lunch. And then our second session, I will be leading that one, and it's a topic near and dear to my heart. It's cultivating next generation leaders, creating pathways for young leaders to thrive. And this really came out of a session that I did with some other young women in their 20s, actually, who are really wanting to serve in ministry but don't feel connected, or that there's been barriers for them. And so we, as older leaders, and I'm referring to myself as an older leader, but we as women who've been seasoned or leading for a while, it's just like, are we paying attention to the next generation? And how can we value the women who are coming behind us? How can we communicate and create those pathways more intentionally? And I love the thought of as we're thinking about our theme for the year, growing together. If you've ever tried to grow something from seed, you want that little seedling that is peeking up through the soil, just how are we tending to that? And that's the way that we needed to be thinking about the next generation, is how are we tending to them? How are we caring and nurturing them? And then our last, we'll have some time around the table to discuss that together. And then our last session will be a Q&A, conversations and practical helps for women's ministries to thrive. And you'll be able to hear and ask questions in that time.
And really, this day is just going to meet you wherever you're at.
Yes.
If you need to be, and I will be the first to speak of this, to be challenged maybe in your mindset or in your thinking, or how you define success, or how you put a ministry plan together, that first session I think is going to just grab you and pull you in and challenge you in a really good way.
Yeah.
And then when I think about next gen leaders, we have to be intentional to build that bridge, to reach down and to bring them up and to say, hey, there's a place for you here, and we want you to be part of the conversation. And I know having like Emily Watson, to share her story.
I forgot. We're going to have Emily Watson here as part of that. She's going to share her story and her passion as a younger leader and some just practical takeaways, because what I find when I'm having these conversations, and I'm sure you do too, is you've got both of, mixed generations of women, but nobody really knows where to start the conversation. So we actually will have some tools for you to take away with you to get that conversation started, and to just think about more creatively and more intentionally about how we're nurturing that next generation of leaders, because our hearts need to be for that next generation. Like, what is God doing? What is the work that He wants to do?
That is so
and
good.
We're to steward that.
And really just, again, saying we're all in this together. We really are growing together. We're better together, and we can sharpen one another. And then that last session, this is the opportunity for the attendees to bring your questions.
Yes.
Really, what are you struggling with? What is it that you want maybe some different ideas or some input on? And so it's an interactive day. It's going to be refreshing. It's going to be challenging. We want you to be a part of it. We want you to come, bring your women's ministry team. team.
Yeah, we've got several coming in
yes.
as a team. And, as I said earlier, you're going to be, the best thing that can happen is learning from each other. We're not here with all the answers. We're here to just connect you with others who are walking in the same spaces that you are. We serve, a lot of people serve in a volunteer role, and that can be challenging. And so we have different sizes of churches. We have different areas of the state. And so you're going to be able to be with other women who are in similar roles.
So good. So good. It's something for everybody. We want you to have all the details. It is Saturday, April 22nd here at the Arkansas Baptist State Convention in Little Rock. Doors open at 9:30. You can come, grab a cup of coffee, get registered, get settled in. The first session begins promptly at 10 a.m. You can find out all the details at absc.org/thrive. It's a flat $20 fee that'll cover all of your resources as well as all of your food. We're going to feed you. So this is a place for leaders to come, get connected, get encouraged, and then go back into your local church setting with a fresh vision to really serve those women and to help them grow in their walks with Jesus. And so, Shari, thank you for coming on and doing this quick little promo. Yeah. I know we can't wait to see all of the leaders who will be here and then really continue this momentum that we see in connecting leaders and serving the women of Arkansas. So be sure and log on to absc.org/thrive. Find out all the details and register, and we can't wait to see you on April 22nd at Thrive. Thanks for listening. I hope today's episode helps you embrace the full, free, abundant life that God provides. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to Inspire on the Go. If you would like more encouragement to help you grow in your faith, visit my website at AndreaLennonMinistry.org. Come back next time and enjoy another episode of Inspire on the Go.